are now listening to the War Report Podcast Network.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the College Loop Podcast, episode 120 of the College Loop Podcast. It's just me and Colin here today. Colin, I actually said you were working last night whenever you weren't in the live stream, or 2 nights ago.
Yeah, you lied. I was asleep.
I had no idea.
Hand up. Fell asleep on the couch watching my Denver Broncos eventually lose. So probably slept through the worst of it. But I'm doing good today. I know you didn't ask, but I'm doing great.
Well, at least you had to look up and see if your team lost. I knew from the get-go, as my Carolina Panthers apparently aren't in a rebuild, are 0-5, and that's a lot of fun. I'm slowly becoming a happier person now that I know that the Carolina Panthers are never in my region, so I don't have to watch it. I just have to hear about it, which hurts less, I guess. But yeah, we are here to talk about Auburn athletics mostly, and Auburn football is starting off right with them. Hugh Freeze had a press conference yesterday in reference to and previewing the LSU game, but he did that less amount of time, but kind of going in depth on some of the injuries, some of the struggles we've had offensively, overall some thoughts on LSU, and then a very funny little tidbit we also had with this press conference as well. Start off with the injuries. It looks like Austin Keys, Keontae Scott, not going to be playing for the foreseeable future. I know I think we said 2 last week, that Scott was ahead of schedule in his recovery, but it seems that we might not get him back for a few more weeks still. Still don't know when we're going to get Keys back. Jalen Simpson is day-to-day, but is feeling better after his injury versus Georgia, and he's going to be a player we're really going to need back versus LSU. Damari Alston listed as doubtful. Malcolm Johnson also listed as day-to-day. Javarius Johnson's questionable, and of course, Mosiah Nasili-Kite also was listed again as out for the season. Just throwing that back out there because Keldrick Falk is going to be a big talking point throughout the week. But yeah, just overall thoughts on the injuries, Colin?
I mean, obviously it's good that our guys are getting day-to-day. We're getting closer and closer to being healthier. I think it's funny that we spent all offseason talking about Kendrick Falk, and I think it's finally his time. I know I said he'd be starting by the Texas A&M game. That wasn't really the case, but he will be starting versus LSU. So that should be exciting.
Yeah, and I wanted him to earn the starting spot by just outperforming everybody. This is not how I wanted Keldrick Falk to emerge as the starting defense. I thought he was going to be the edge rusher, but I guess the starting defensive end. But Keldrick Falk and Zykevious Walker, both listed by Hugh Freeze as vital parts who are going to have to share snaps for this defense in a game that's going to be very, very, very heavy on the shoulders of this defense, with Jaden Daniels not coming into town, but us going into Baton Rouge to play Jaden Daniels, who, just to go into the LSU game, I mean, Hugh Freeze had nothing but praise to say about Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he said that he wouldn't be surprised if he's a Heisman finalist. And I don't think I would either. He's been tearing it up over there. Obviously, I think what Auburn's going to have to do is not play into his game, make it not a shootout. And Hugh Freeze talked about that at the press conference.
Yeah, and just looking at Jaden Daniels, if he didn't already have 2 losses on the season, I think we'd be talking about him as probably the Heisman finalist if he had beaten Florida State and Ole Miss. But, the Heisman Trophy, let's give it to the best player in college football, is a team award, if you were unaware of that. But, yeah, talk about shortening the game. Auburn's offense is going to have to run the ball a lot. This defense, you're going to be focused on trying to slow down Jaden Daniels and Malik Neighbors and all these other guys that are just so star-studded in this LSU offense. But LSU's defense is very bad, horrendously bad, one might say. But you don't want to have to you do not want this Auburn offense to try to keep up with a high-powered offense. That is the worst possible thing that you could possibly ask for a team that has been struggling week in and week out offensively. And I think you're going to have to run the ball a lot this game. Just a lot. I think 40 carries if you want a chance. Do not put this game in the arm of Peyton Thorne.
Yeah, I think this game comes down to time of possession. Honestly, it's how often you can keep Jaden Daniels and the LSU offense off the field. Because Hugh Freeze talked about it in the press conference. He said that it's not going to be about completely stopping them. It's about holding them to field goals. And that's what we're playing against.
Which is a wild thing to say because you would hope your coach would come out and say, "Yeah, we want to just shut down their offense completely. We want to stop them. We don't want to let them score." No, Hugh Freeze came out and said, "Yeah, there's probably not a good way for us to stop them. We're just going to have to hope and pray they can just kick field goals." And if this game just comes down to the leg of Alex McPherson, I feel pretty confident in that. But yeah, LSU defense very, very bad. But I still don't trust any of these quarterbacks enough to throw the ball against a defense that I am, and the rest of college football is very low on because this defense. I cannot overstate this enough. The defense is bad. It's very bad. But Hugh Freeze asked about the offensive play calling and everything. I think Mike G asked this question talking about looking at a change of philosophy, and Hugh Freeze is completely against that. He is going to keep the philosophy the same, kind of making sure that RPOs just kind of get called better, and making sure that as he said, the identity in the passing game matches the personnel. And I got to be honest, Auburn does not have an identity when it comes to passing the ball. So that already just Auburn has to find an identity in their personnel this game if they want to have any luck passing the ball the rest of the season.
Yeah, that was something else that he really harped on, was just the fact that wide receivers aren't coming down with those 50-50 balls, and said that is something that they're going to have to do. They're going to have to make contested catches, and that Peyton Thorne is putting the ball in the right spot, but it's just down to the receivers to come down with the ball.
Yeah, and the biggest kicker of all those was he said that there was 10 plays that cost us the Georgia game, 6 of which he put on the coach's shoulders. Looking at those, I think there was a lot of plays that just were very boneheaded plays to call. I would love to see the film session and see what exactly those 6 plays were, or just the 10 in general. He did say that I love that he calls all the players kids, because I guess they are to older people. Older people. It's
watch
just
out there.
It's just a weird thing to say about a bunch of college students, college kids.
Well, you just did it.
Yeah, but
what am I to you, Dylan? What am I?
You're an employee.
Okay, that was not the answer I was looking for.
Well, tough. But yeah, looking at, I mean, there's also those 6 plays that were just drops by receivers who probably could have brought it down, but didn't. A couple of those balls that were kind of listed as drops were just bad passes. A couple of those were. One that comes to my mind is the Jay Fair slant route that would have gotten him murdered had he caught it, but then also like 2 yards above his head. But overall, I don't think Hugh Freeze is the best coach at saying everything and nothing at a press conference. He's the king of that. But he did bring up a nice little tidbit talking about how the position coaches were enlisted with calling each of the parents of the players during the bye week and just kind of seeing any kind of input they have on how the program is being run, I presume. He said the parents enjoy Hugh's Monday meeting life teachings. Feels like they are cared for, which something you didn't really get from the previous administration, who didn't even know when some of the recruits were even on official visits. So that's a nice change of pace. But Colin, I'm gonna go ahead and let you harp on this tidbit, because I know how much you have a feeling about some other coach in in coaching college football right now. Hugh Freeze said that was asked about the noise, artificial noise, practicing with that in hopes to get ready for this LSU night game. And Hugh Freeze said, "Yeah, I heard that this noise during practice is a new thing," and he said it's not, which it is very much not. This has been going on forever. And Colin, I'm gonna let you go ahead and have your cake and eat it too.
I just thought I just didn't anticipate Hugh Freeze to take a small little shot at Dion at the press conference today. Because it's in reference to Dion talking about, it wasn't really Dion, it was more the media really harping on the fact that Dion used crowd noise to prepare Colorado. So I think it was either USC or Oregon. Don't remember which one.
It would have been Oregon. They played in Eugene.
So to get ready for Oregon, and they kind of made a big deal of that, which I don't know. I feel like that's standard. But whatever. We also talked about Dion's trademarks back before the show. I think Brother Hugh needs to trademark Brother Hugh. Among other things.
He needs a trademark Yahtzee because that's not already a copyrighted thing.
Mm-mm.
But if you can go look it up, all of Dion's trademark listings are very stupid and are just coming. It's like whenever that one YouTube channel tried to copyright the word react.
Yeah.
Which was
I like
dumb.
some of them. Like working on twerking is a fun trademark. I don't know how they're going to use that, but
I just don't. I don't want to say I don't care enough, but I don't about what's going on over at Colorado to really listen to all these other sayings coming out, and I just think it's so dumb that he just has 16. F around and find out. That's something that gets said by everyone in the world, but Dion wants it. That makes no sense. But Coach Prime, understand. Prime 21, completely understand. Coach Prime, Prime Time, all these other stuff that kind of makes sense within the sphere that is Colorado football and Deion Sanders makes sense. But some of those are just very stupid. We coming, we here, just simple sentences. But if you say it, you got to pay Deion Sanders royalties for it. That's crazy.
Well, quit saying it then, dude. We're gonna have to pay some coin.
So with that, we're going to be starting our own copyright and trademark list as well. I'm taking What's Up, guys? What's up, everybody? This has been the College League Podcast is being trademarked. So if you ever say anything like that, you owe us $5 in royalties for every time you say it.
Feeling loopy.
Feeling loopy. That is also going to be trademarked as well. And just the word loop in general. Feeling, loop, loopy, looper. All those words
the shape of circle. We'll take that.
Exactly. Any arrows going around, we'll take that as well. But to move on from this conversation, to go into the depth chart real quick, and only real difference with the depth chart is the fact that Keldrick Vaco is now listed as a starter, and that's pretty much it. But also, I don't think this depth chart really gets updated all that much.
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
It's this guy's hurt. All right, just take him out. That'll work.
Well, Damari's still playing allegedly on the depth chart, so.
And apparently, it's still a conversation on whether or not Robbie Ashford or Holden Gurner are the backup quarterback. I think that's all the funny things going on in here. Did Jeremiah Wright get hurt? Oh no, he's listed as a backup right tackle behind Xavier Miller. There we go. I was looking for him. The offensive line also is very weird. Gunnar Britton officially a guard now, I presume. I don't really know how to feel about that. I felt like he played better as a tackle. But if they're going to have him as a guard, of God, keep him as a guard. So we can stop getting these stupid penalties. We didn't get any against Georgia. But I swear if we get any against LSU, I'm a loser.
You're going to have Dylan worked up.
Yeah, you about to have a very angry Dylan Larck on the next College Loop Reaction show. And with LSU being listed as a 6 o'clock, was it 6 o'clock, 6:30 kickoff for LSU?
I think it's 6:30.
6:30. Let me fact check that before we look stupid. That'd be a good idea to do. But the Ole Miss game has also been listed as a 6 o'clock kick as well. So officially Auburn as a night game in Jordan-Hare Stadium against an SEC opponent. And LSU is 6 o'clock. So back-to-back 6 o'clock kicks for Auburn against two SEC teams who are going to be in. Auburn is very much in a very important state of they need to win both these games because you have both teams that kind of play to the strengths of each team. I don't think Ole Miss has a great defense. Auburn needs to find a way to exploit that. LSU doesn't have a good defense. Auburn needs to find a way to exploit that. And both teams are going to be very big on making sure that Auburn defense is as good as we think it is. But yeah, Ole Miss at 6 o'clock is going to be huge, especially because Auburn doesn't lose to Ole Miss, at least in my I guess not my lifetime, everybody's lifetime. Ole Miss not really a threat. So I'm not going to knock on wood. I'm pretty confident in that. I'll put on the goggles if I need to, but I don't think I need to. Ole Miss just doesn't beat Auburn. And last year, I give Potato Man, I forget those 2 years exist. Or the 1 year he lost to Ole Miss, but that's it. They got their one. But did you know LSU is currently an 11-point favorite?
No, I did not know that off the top of my head. I might be surprised it's not a little more, just based on how high powered their offense has been. Listen, LSU is a good offense. They have a not a good defense, but their offense scares the hell out of me.
I mean, their offense is like generational level, but that defense is god awful. Yeah. Like I like it's different. Like I can see it being a 20-point spread just because the offense is just that good. I can see it being like a 3-point spread because the defense is just that bad. Mm-hmm. So I guess 11 is a happy medium between those two. But then again, like that defense is going to keep Auburn in the game somehow, some way, and Auburn's offense is going to look competent against that defense as well. And also going on the, let me find, I don't know what date this actually is going on, so that's a fun thing. But the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game is coming up, and Auburn has 5 current commits who are going to be playing in this All-Star game, and a couple other guys sprinkled around who are Auburn targets. But just go on to talk about the commits. Jaden Lewis, 4-star defensive back. Malik Blockton, I believe he's either a low 4 or high 3-star from the class 2025 from Pike Road. You got running back Fat Burnett also playing this game. 4-star wide receiver Bryce Kane and 5-star wide receiver Perry Thompson, all listed on the 2023 All-Star football roster for the Alabama Mississippi All-Star game. If you have not seen this game before, it's a lot of fun. It's just a bunch of high schoolers playing around with each other. And a game in the Crampton, I believe it's still in the Crampton Bowl, unless I am just wrong on that as well. But I've only seen the game once. It's basically a Pro Bowl, but for high schoolers. So,
but high schoolers from Alabama and Mississippi.
Exactly.
The 2 most talented states.
Yeah. Definitely. When I think of the premier high school level talent, I'm like, oh yeah, Alabama, Mississippi, 1 and 2, and move over California and Georgia and Florida.
They ain't nothing.
They ain't nothing. But I will say Alabama is having a nice little streak of having a lot of good 5-stars coming from the state of Alabama. I think Alabama has kind of mustered their way into like a top 7 in high school talent.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair to say. 7 to 8, probably floating around there.
Yeah, because what is it? It'd be California, Georgia, Texas, Florida,
California.
I said California's 1. California, Georgia, Florida, Texas. Does New York?
Mm-mm.
And not New York. I'm trying to. What are the states I'm forgetting about?
I know there's some because I'm sitting here. I'm like, damn, what is he forgetting about? Because
Missouri's
not 5.
Missouri's had a little streak of some decent 5-stars, but I won't put them.
They're not 5 either.
Tennessee, I'd say Tennessee has some good ones. Louisiana has some good ones.
Louisiana's good. They got some speed from Louisiana.
It's a lot of. I'm trying to think. Southeast, Oklahoma.
I was thinking them, but
Nebraska,
I don't know.
maybe. I don't know. Maybe Alabama's like 6, and we could just cut it there. But until you figured, what do you say? You're trying to figure out what states have the highest, like.
Yeah, I looked up a list, but this is not important at all.
Well,
Ohio.
There we go.
Okay.
Colin, but you know what is important?
What's important?
The College Loop branded shirts. They're available for only $25 on warport.com. Coming in 5 colors. You have navy, you have heather navy, you have heather black, and you have heather gray as well. All very comfortable shirts. the most comfortable shirt, one might say. We've talked to multiple clothing outlets. They have been very jealous. They've been talking to us on repeat, trying to figure out what exactly we make these shirts out of. They'll never know because we ain't telling them, but they are comfortable as all get out. So go get you your College Loop branded Feelin' Loopy t-shirts now. Once you get it, post a picture of it with the hashtag Feelin' Loopy, and you will be on the show. You showed us love by getting the shirt, so we'll show you love on the show by showing out your own Feelin' Loopy shirt. So get that, warreport.com. If you want to type it in the search bar, well, guess what? It's in the description below. So go ahead and go get you a shirt today. Now to move on to basketball. Andy Katz from, I believe, he's from CBS, right?
Mm-hmm.
CBS. Listed Johni Broome as the number 2 power forward in the country. Just further filling my head with the hot air of this Auburn team is going to be a national championship contender this year because everything I've been hearing about this basketball team is just this team is freaking loaded.
Dude, I'm so excited. Basketball season cannot get here quick enough. I'm already planning road trips to all the close SEC schools for our away games. I'm pumped.
Where's the SEC tournament this year?
SEC tournament, I believe, is back in Tampa. I could be wrong. I know we had a great time in Tampa that one time. So
yeah, I mean, that was a lot of fun in Tampa. I know you only got to enjoy it for what, 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah, before everyone got COVID. It was a tough trip.
Well, Auburn basketball, I believe, is in the 20s days away from coming back into our hearts and minds and focus. And just make sure November 1st against Auburn University of Montgomery, and then 6 days after that you have the Baylor Bears. In the why are we playing them in South Dakota?
I don't know. I think it's one of the biggest mistakes. We're taking a premier Big 12 powerhouse of the past few years, and obviously the best SEC basketball team of the past 6-7 years in Auburn.
I would say
making them play in a 2,000 seat gym in South Dakota.
You're taking a blue blood from the SEC and Baylor, and taking them to Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Listen, the 6 fans that go are gonna have a great time.
Well, don't worry, because 3 days after that, they'll be back in Neville Arena for Southeastern Louisiana. But again, we are just under a month away, and I mean, just to even count the days, we are 3 weeks away from Auburn basketball and women's basketball as well. So a lot of fun there, and we are going to be so hyped up for that, and I hope y'all are as well. Now to kick it back to softball, who wrapped up, or didn't wrap up quite yet, but they got done with 2 more games in this fall ball season, taking down AUM and Alabama State, beating AUM 5-1 and beating Alabama State 4-3. A little bit of a slower outing than they had last weekend or 2 weekends ago against Troy and, oh my Lord, Sneed. There we go, Sneed. And Emma Rolfe, again, showing out that she is going to be the relief pitcher after Shelby Lowe and Maddie Pinta. And just overall, this team, I think, is still going to be very good. Still going to be is going to be top 5 in the SEC again this year. Now, I think we brought in 2 very good transfers, brought in a lot of good freshmen. This team is going to be good despite what we lost in the offseason. And then also this week, I realized I threw that in the soccer tab. I'd see you have it listed right there. But yeah, Auburn Soccer, after losing the Iron Bowl of soccer, came back and played number 6 Arkansas. And Colin, how did they perform against number 6 Arkansas?
I mean, they won. They beat a top 10 team here on the Plains. It was the biggest upset in Auburn soccer since 2011 when they beat 5th-ranked Duke. So it was just a big game overall. Sydney Thibodeau had a laser of a goal in the 60th minute to put the Tigers up 2-1, and they stayed there the rest of the game. Was their first top 10 win since 2017, I think. So big implications.
And what if I told you that that was not the only top 10 win of any Auburn athletic team of this weekend? Because Auburn Volleyball traveled to Gainesville, and I know you are also the volleyball guy on the scene as well. So just a little rhetorical question. Auburn went to Gainesville, and for the first time since when beat Florida?
It's been a long time. Florida and Kentucky have been the two powerhouse volleyball programs forever in the SEC. And I know it was the first time Florida has ever been swept by Auburn. So it was our first sweep of them in program history.
Yeah, first time in forever beating Florida. First time in even longer than forever, meaning ever, sweeping them as well, and also got a nice little win over South Carolina. And that was was that 3-2?
That
right?
was 3-2. They fought to the bitter end on that one.
And somehow, after beating, I don't know how the rankings really work in volleyball. Is it like the NAP kind of thing where people just vote and kind of?
I think it's kind of like that. But obviously, it's just because they beat number 9 Florida, they're not going to go up a significant amount just because of how talented schools outside the SEC are. SEC is not quite there in the volleyball world yet. They're working on it.
I'm just saying, you beat number 9 in their own arena. I think you deserve to go up a little bit more than just 3 spots.
I think Florida's kind of free falling right now, but that takes nothing away from what Auburn went and did.
Hey, even they're free falling, they're still number 9 when they lost. So,
yes, sir.
Despite that, and before we get into the last 2 sports, just to go into the other team that beat a top 10 team this weekend, Auburn Equestrian took down number 7 Baylor in Waco, Texas. So another huge win for the Equestrian school. No other school better at riding horses than the Auburn Tigers. And did that despite having to travel to Waco, where, like you said, they have to. I don't understand why they have to ride someone else's horses.
The equestrian rules are crazy. We can't travel with our own horses, so you just ride Baylor's horses after Baylor does it. And I don't listen. I'm not a horse guy. Never ridden a horse actually, but I imagine that Baylor has an advantage there, riding them every day instead of just once when you get off the bus.
I remember a couple years ago in, I think, the SEC championship, maybe, or somewhere where Auburn, I think, lost to Georgia, and it was in Athens, and it was very weird because they had to ride their horses and use their stuff and everything. So, not really in their favor there, but I think it's so lame.
It's the most confusing sport on earth. But I know Auburn's swept.
Have you ever watched cricket?
No, I've not watched cricket.
I've you'll change your mind.
I've watched them ride the damn horses, though. I'll tell you what, and I do not know anything that's going on.
Watch cricket, and then you'll change your opinion on that.
Okay, I'll give it a look.
Yeah, but Auburn Equestrian also on pace to win the national championship. They're I don't know how many games they have, but they're on pace to go undefeated. Just throw it out there. But also, I'm gonna let you hit up on golf for a second because they are now the highest ranked team out of any Auburn athletic program.
Yeah, well, they're also the highest ranked team in all of golf. The men's golf team is ranked 1 after this SEC preview this past week. Jackson Coven, I believe is how you pronounce his name, won Freshman of the Week honors for his performance after in the first match of the year. So this is their second time playing. He won SEC Player of the Week, like of anyone. So he's bursting onto the scene. He's doing it pretty well. He shot 9 under in stroke play, which was the best of any freshman in the SEC. And then he beat the number 1 amateur golfer, Gordon Sargent, in what's it called, match play. So he did some work this weekend. So
very, very nice. Auburn finding another sport that they're just way better at than everybody else. You know, everything's cool, one might say. And just last sport we're going to touch on the day: track and field. Dontavius Hill, who has been probably one of the best track and field athletes Auburn has had ever. Maybe I think his stats speak for himself. Announced today or yesterday, as we're recording this, announced he will be pursuing professional track and field. So good on him. I think his career ended last track and field season. I don't. Are there like 2 track and field seasons?
Yeah, they do like a spring and a fall. I know that. He's been here forever. I also know that. So he's done some good work for Auburn. Time to go do it on the professional circuit, next level.
What are the professional track and field things called? Is that not just the Olympics?
There's like the U.S. Globals and stuff like that. On like less, I'm sure it's not as high as a prestige as the Olympics, but you're still, jumping over bars for a career. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I said there's one thing. It's one thing being the best at doing that in America, and it's another thing to be the best at doing that in the world. So I guess there's a little ranking of professionalism amongst those. But I believe we've hit on literally everything that we've missed throughout the weekend. But yeah, Auburn football. Get ready throughout the week. We're going to have more preview of the Auburn LSU game, the Tiger Bowl, because that game, no matter where it's played, no matter when it's played, no matter who's playing, as long as Auburn and LSU, the game's going to get weird. Look at the last time Auburn played LSU in Tiger Stadium. Bo Nix literally ran 140 yards behind the line of scrimmage throughout that game.
It was something ridiculous. I just remember being blown away.
Angry, then sad, and angry again. Back to happy because Tyler Frum caught a touchdown pass, and somehow it's the weirdest thing ever that after a 20-something year streak that a walking potato was the first coach to beat LSU in Baton Rouge, and since before I was born. That's a crazy thing. But Colin, what are the 2 ways that people can support the show?
So, I mean, the best and easiest way to support the show is just to like, subscribe, leave a comment if you're feeling crazy. But you also could go in the description and buy the War Damn shirt. Yeah, that's how you help us. Yeah. Right? Did I hit it?
Yeah, you did. Then remember the War Report shirt? I just came back down. There we go. The War Report shirt again. Just throwing that back up there just so everyone can see it, love it, and think about buying it. And with Christmas coming up, it's the best Christmas gift you can possibly give someone. So go ahead and get your college feeling loopy T-shirts today.
Never too early to think about it.
But Colin, go ahead and tell everybody I love you, find and support you, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah. So, just follow my Twitter. You know the spiel. It's at Beyersdorf Colin. That's BEYERSDORF Colin.
And of course, I'm Don Larck at your boy Tank on Twitter/X. It's just right there at your boy Tank at YABOY the Tank. And of course, you have me on Instagram as well at Don Larck at DYLANLARCK. And if you want to follow us here on the College Loop, you have us literally everywhere: Twitter/X, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, the works. And we are getting very close to having Colin run a little MySpace page. We're only 366 subscribers away from Colin running a MySpace page.
When did that get pawned on me and off of you?
The second you signed the contract and got pawned off. But don't worry. Once we hit, I think it was 800, Daniel has to run the College Group Reddit that we'll be starting. And me and Tarr will be relaxing while y'all do all that. Also, you have a TikTok dance you have to record. So
it's in the drafts, don't worry.
You can get that posted then. But of course, again, if you want to support the show here, you have us on YouTube as well. You like, comment, and subscribe. Leave your thoughts on the upcoming Tiger Bowl. Leave your predictions. Leave your hot takes, and we'll talk about it on the next show as well. And of course, if you want to listen to the show, you have us on you have us on Spotify Podcast, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music. And with all of that being said, this has been, if I can get my mouth working, this has been the College Loop Podcast.